Hi, welcome. Thank you for joining me on the Daily Reflection. This is the Places of Opposites edition, and I'm Reverend Shereen. Today we're going to be using the OSHO Zen Tarot. Places of Opposites is a reading I created that looks at opposites, dichotomies, things that are in play at the same time that are all working towards a central theme. And in this reading, the top card oftentimes illustrates what we are aware of, what we know is going on in our life, the focus of what we have going on right now. And opposite of that are things that are equally important, equally moving things around, equally influencing you, that may be subconscious or may be external to you, things going on in your life that's not really part of your process, but that you are definitely involved in. To the left is our analytical wisdom, our logic, the way our mind works, how we think through a problem, how we approach it, what makes sense to us in our mind. And oftentimes it can indicate energies we're moving out of, so a little bit the past. To the right is the emotional wisdom, your inner voice, the intuition, that deep knowing, how you feel, how you process your emotions, how you process things from that gut level. And it can also be the energies you're moving towards, so moving towards future. And in the center is that unifying element, that theme, the thing, how it all comes together, what it really is revolving around. So that will be the reading that we're going to be doing. I should also do a meditation moment. I had a pretty intense one this afternoon. And really what triggered it was I watched a video by Kyle Cease, and he was talking about the value that you bring, the thing that makes you unique and valuable and irreplaceable, the part of you that nobody else can replicate. And it was interesting because in his video, he kind of asked that question, what makes you valuable? And in that instant that he asked it, this little tiny frightened girl inside of me, which totally took me by surprise because I thought that that part had been healed. But anyway, that little tiny voice inside of me popped up and didn't know. She was terrified that she didn't know, that she didn't have anything that made her unique, special, more valuable. And fortunately, the larger part of myself knows that not to be true. I know very much what I'm good at and my value in that way. But the part, is like, well, what sets me apart within this field? What makes me unique within this? What makes me special in my, chosen profession of clairvoyance and being a psychic and being a healer and being a counselor and being a teacher? And, I just had to look at that in my meditation is what does make me unique. And I also had to look at where that frightened little girl still resided, because I thought that I had already brought her to the light and calmed her fears and reassured her and showed her how beautiful and wonderful she was, but she popped up where I least expected it. So that was my meditation moment, and I encourage you to take notice of those moments when your inner child or your inner mother or your inner sister or whatever that inner part of you, whatever role it takes on that sometimes surprises you, pops up, because that part still needs healing. So, all right, we're going to move into our places of opposites. And as I shuffle, I'm just going to pray that this video, this message finds the audience it's intended for in divine timing, and that it brings you moments of clarity, moments of aha, and moments of opportunities to heal. So, All right, for the top card, we are going to go with that one. And opposite of it is that one. And again, I use the psychometry in my hand, the way my hand feels energy to pick these cards. So it may look just random, but it's actually a vibrational sensation in my hand. Feels like, I guess, like magnetic. It's not hot, it's not cold, it just feels like a pull. So there's the center. All right, let's see what guidance is for us today. As I connect with you all. Okay, the top card is Schizophrenia. The Two of Clouds or the Two of Air. This is a mental suit, the cloud suit. And this card is speaking about the fact that you cannot walk two directions at the same time. You cannot be for and against something at the same time. There might be a part of you that feels that way, but ultimately, if you are trying to move two directions that are opposite of each other at the same time, you're going to end up split apart. You're going to end up split in your mind. You're going to end up split in your heart. You're going to end up split, period. And so as you are making decisions in your life, you have to know, you have to identify the priorities, the things that ultimately take precedence, whether it's your moral stance or a relationship that's important to you or your career. You cannot divide that in two different ways and still be able to move forward. You just end up split and torn apart. And this is what you're feeling right now. This is kind of the focus of where you are. Is like, what do I need to be doing right now? Where do I need to be putting my energy? What decisions am I making that are important to my life? And how am I living in this moment? Am I living in this moment? Am I doing what I'm here to do? Am I embodying it? Am I being fully present with it? Or am I allowing myself to be torn apart? Am I allowing myself to try to wear too many hats or to please people? All kinds of things are coming up here when I'm looking at this card, but you cannot be walking in two directions at the same time. It doesn't work. So this card is just indicating that it's time for you to choose which direction is more important, even if that's a painful choice. Even if that puts you into turmoil in your mind and in your thoughts and keeps you second guessing yourself, it is time for you to decide what the priority is. And opposite of that, in the subconscious or the background, is the card Consciousness. Still the mental suit. This would be the equivalent to the Ace. This is the awareness of the big picture. This is the awareness of how you fit in this world, how you fit in this life. And you may not 100% know that, but you're coming to know that. It's being shown to you, and you have that impetus, that drive to want to figure it out, to understand what you have to offer, to understand where you fit, to understand how you are influencing the world as much as it is influencing you, and how that interplay goes. And that's partly what's causing this, because prior to this, you maybe weren't aware of the need to express your purpose or the need to express why you are here, or your need to embrace that. You may have just been living whatever life was handed to you, whatever expectations were handed to you. This is just how life goes. And suddenly you're aware of more within yourself that you want to express, and it may not be in line with that life that was handed to you. And therefore it's up to you to make the choices of what's more important. But it's that awareness that you influence the world as much as it influences you that's starting to wake that up within you. And your mental analytical wisdom coming from the left, we have compromise. 6 of Rainbows. This is the earthy suit, the physical suit, the life embodied suit. And the 6 here is asking you, in your mind, you've been trying to compromise and please everyone. You've been trying to be all of the hats that people expect of you. And that works for you to a degree. It has worked for you. But where it is working, or where it has been working, that ability to please everybody and to wear those different hats is actually also causing this split to where you feel like you don't know which direction to go. And that's because one of these things that you're compromising on, you can no longer do that. You have to give way and shift the balance towards one thing or the other. It doesn't mean that you have to abandon or annihilate or any of those other things. It just means you have to set the priority and you have to set the boundaries and you have to say, this is where I no longer am able to compromise. This is what I'm choosing. This is how it feels. And for your mind, that's difficult because you've been practiced so long at making everything balanced, making everything come together, making everything be equal, that the thought of choosing one over the other puts you into a mental strain and a mental game of second guessing yourself all the time. But you're just at that point where you no longer can compromise. What used to work will no longer work. Where you used to be able to make everything equal, now you have to prioritize. So, moving into your emotional wisdom and going forward, we have the 10 of Clouds, that mental suit, and this is rebirth. And this is the result, or actually, it's interesting that it's your emotional wisdom that's going to allow you to clear your mind. It's your emotional wisdom that's going to allow you to make that distinction and that choice of what feels right, what speaks to you, your inner voice, your knowingness of which way to go. And it allows you then to step forward as a new you, that rebirth, with confidence, with knowingness, with certainty, where your mind may have been perplexed on how to do this and not be able to make the right choice. Your heart knows. And it allows you to then put that hamster wheel, that racetrack, that spinning motion, all of those to rest. And you can just let go and choose and walk forward, rebirth, full of courage, full of excitement and certainty, both in your mind and your heart. But it will be your emotions and that inner voice, that inner knowing that will help you know what to prioritize. And in the center, we have, can I read that number? 18. 18, this card they call Past Lives. What I'm looking at here is through your whole life. Again, that notion of being handed expectations, of handed a life. This is what you're expected to do. This is the timing and the flow and the patterns, and this is what the whole world expects of you. And you've been trying to do that. You've been trying to compromise and make everybody happy. But this is that notion that deep down, what you've been handed and expectations in the life that they said this is what you need to do isn't current with who you are. And that awareness, that consciousness that's coming forward to shine the light on more of what you're here to do, more of what you as a spirit wants to express, your unique value, what you want to bring forward. You are moving into owning that presently in this life and not accepting the past life that people gave you, the past that you were expected to. It is also esoterically speaking about past lives, influences that you've brought from previous existence, whether that is different iterations of you as you've grown up, like we said, the scared little girl, or the teenager, or the graduate from college, or the new mother, or whether it is truly incarnations and karmic patterns and things that you're bringing. Either way, all of those things, you are just recognizing all those aspects of you, while valid and while they bring information, are the past. And the life that you've been expected to live is the past. And you are really so ready to bring it all into what is true within you in the present, true within you right here, right now, and where you want to go moving forward. The choice that you want to make, and that rebirth, and owning your choice, owning your priorities, owning what's important to you, and what you want to bring forth and express, regardless of anybody else's opinion, regardless of anybody else's expectations, even regardless of what you thought you wanted to do before. So that's it. That's the places of opposites for today. And I hope that really spoke to you and you were able to find a nugget in it. And if you feel like sharing, I always love to see the comments and those things, or the messages that I get. So please feel free to do that. And we will see you tomorrow for another daily reflection. Take care.